All right, welcome back to another episode of Let's Go Sundays Around the Wiffle Horn. Back with us today, we've got Ed Packer and David Rotos Wood, and then we have a special appearance, a special guest from another guy down in the Southeast, and that's our buddy Troop Brinson. Troop, welcome to the show. How you been, pal? Long time no see.
Hey, I've been great. I've been following you guys and seeing some of the social media stuff. Like what you're doing.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. Mr. Wood, you're welcome back for another episode here. Your thoughts about making your second appearance. In fact, you might have more content now on our show than on Shut Up Stein. Your thoughts?
Oh, very good point. He never releases anything. So we actually have one recorded. He's supposed to be spitting it out soon. It's featuring Babs and Ben. So it's a pretty good show, too. You get to go into the bat making with Babs and then Ben whenever he's getting his little dive into filmmaking and stuff. So it's a good show. You should tune in.
Nice. Looking forward to it. And finally, Mr. Packer, not only were you on the first ever episode of Around the Horn, you were also live yesterday, and now you're back again today. Are you sick of me?
No. I love talking whiffs, man. I've been talking to a few different people on the phone last few days. Quarantine is crawling, to say the least, but being able to talk whiffs has really kind of brightened up the day and given me something to do. Free Joe Exotic for President 2024. But I'm excited to talk some whiffs, man.
I appreciate you getting that plug in for Joe Exotic. Later on we'll get Troop's opinion on Joe Exotic and the whole Tiger King situation. I venture to guess he's along the lines of the people in this chat. I could be wrong. He could prove me wrong later. All right, so our first topic today, we're going to talk about transition to baseball. Baseball should have been playing already. Opening day should have been last week. We really should be all getting up to watch either the Braves tonight or the Mets tonight or anybody else who watch tonight. But instead, we're sitting here talking whiffs virtually. So I want to bring up the Astros cheating scandal, and I'll start with Troop since you're the new guy of the show today. Troop, generally speaking, do you feel that the Astros received the proper punishment for what they have allegedly did?
Well, I guess you get a lot of scorn from throughout baseball and the fans, and the management took most of the heat. I feel kind of different about it because I think that anytime you cheat, I think the main thing is using technology to cheat or using technology to get that edge. I'm okay with the punishment so far. I don't think it needs to go any farther. There's always been some level of teams trying to get an edge. So I don't think that's any new. I just think they got caught and they used technology in a way that we weren't ready for. I think people saw that coming maybe, but that was kind of scary to know that they can use technology to really get a big edge. And you can tell the baseball community really hates that they want to punish more, but I think it's been accurate so far.
That's fair. I think of all the sports, baseball definitely is the most old school when it comes to like its philosophies. And I think especially technology, they don't mind, if guys, they found out that everyone's putting tar on their bats, they'd be okay with it. But the fact that they're using technology, I think really offends them even more. I think it's fair. Packer, what do you think?
I hate it. I wish that the MLB would take more of a stance on it and be willing to punish them for it and punish players for it because they're specific players who I feel like are vital in it. They knew what they were doing, but I feel like the MLB need to take a stance on it, and I feel like it's been gone too lightly because, I think, their GM got fired, their manager got fired, and they were fined a little bit of money. But, if you're telling me to win a championship in your sport, which you've dedicated your entire life to, that if you're willing to cheat your way to the top and cheat all these other guys and throw people's careers off path, they've played guys who get their shot in the MLB who fight their way tooth and nail to get there. Then they face the Astros, and the Astros are banging on trash cans, and they get lit up, and they lit up 5 runs in a third of an inning, and now their course of their career is ruined. Well, they'll never get that shot again because they got sidelined because of that. And it's, you know what, this guy just doesn't have it. He's going back down to AA, AAA, and the Astros get away with it. I wish players would get punished for it. I'm a big proponent on play fair.
Wood, Toast, David, whatever your name is. Packer talked a lot there about pretty much everything, but do you have any specific do you agree? Do you disagree?
I think, like you said, the specific players should be punished more. I think they kind of got away scot-free. I know Josh Reddick is like 20 minutes from me, and they got like the name on the bridge and everything for him. Says World Series champ, yada yada yada. I followed him on Instagram and stuff from a while ago, and it's like he'll post pictures of his kids, like his newborn kids, and people are on there with like leaving emojis of trash cans and clowns and bees and buzzers. They're so ruthless. So I think like formal punishment was a little weak, but I think social punishment is really the one that's gonna end up killing them.
That's fair. Troop, I see you nodding your head. You wanna say something?
Yeah, I agree. It's not going to go away quickly in terms of what the fans think and their perspective. They're going to let them hear it. And the players, you know, I've seen in spring training, they were getting tired of it, but, you know, that's just the way it's going to be. Fans are going to take a long time to get past that, and they're going to enjoy ridiculing them and, you know, social media. They're peers too. You know, your peers a lot of times are your toughest critics, and that's going to be tough, you know. But like I said, my opinion is that they just got caught. Baseball is a sport that there's always been ways to try to get an edge, and it looks bad. It really looks bad, and but it's always teams are always going to try to get an edge, and they really got caught. It looks bad.
No doubt. I think it looks terrible. So to finish up here, thumbs up, thumbs down if you agree or disagree that they should at least have an asterisk next to their championship in the record books. Nice. Points for everybody if we're giving out points. Okay. All right, so that's enough talk about the Astros. Although some people would say that this next topic is a little bit of kind of like cheating. But in wiffle ball, for those of you who don't know, especially in Golden State and a lot of other professional leagues, guys like to scuff the ball. They take a ball, they take a knife, and they cut these intricate designs on the ball. And what that does is it kind of gives them, you know, better control of their pitches. Before we get into the types of scuff, for some of the old school guys who are still in the audience, I'll ask you guys, what do you think? Do you think that's doctoring the ball? Do you think that wiffle ball should just be played with the fresh ball right out of the box? Or should you be able to do what we do to the ball and make it do what it does? We'll start with Toast this time, going back around the other way.
Well, I know whenever I was first starting pitching that the concrete ball was really popular. Mm-hmm. And I learned how to do basic pitches with that. And I know throwing with those that I could make every pitch do the movement, but then I figured out about a cut ball. And one thing about my cuts, I barely even score the ball at all. It's almost like an unscuff to keep a lot of my velo. So the marks that I do put on it are very slight. And I mean, just that little bit of difference in whatever the air does to the ball. I mean, the ball moves like 4 to 5 foot more. So, I mean, I wouldn't call it cheating. I would say there are different styles of the game of wiffle ball more than calling one way cheating and one way not, because everyone has the access to do it. It's kind of your choice to what ball you want to use. I mean, if you want, there's no restrictions on balls really besides it being like graded down to nothing and creating the mush ball. But I mean, I like scuffs myself, so the individuality of it.
No doubt. I think we all grew up on grabbing the ball out of the box, rubbing it on the concrete of the blacktop, and then just trying to keep rubbing it until you found like 1 or 2 pitches that worked. Packer, what do you think about scuffs? Do you think it's fair? Do you think that it's like something that is going to always be there with wiffle ball, or do you think maybe it's going to be phased out?
I mean, I think it'll always be there. I mean, there's obviously organizations and leagues that play in different styles that don't allow it. I personally, I like scuffing the ball just because it's the same movement every time. You know that it's going to go the opposite of the holes. Whereas you have a guy who uses an unscuffed ball or a lightly scuffed ball or cement pavement or sandpaper. It kind of differs here and there. I'll never forget watching Josh Pagano throw in Connecticut the one year at Nationals for Golden Stick, and he went with like a lightly scuffed sandpaper ball, and he shut down the U for like 7 innings because it was just a different movement. Everybody in the style that we play, you're so used to seeing opposite of holes, ball down, it goes up, vice versa. Whereas if you do that, if you use a slightly sandpaper ball or whatever, it doesn't do that. It might go up one time, other times it might drop down a little bit. I always kind of go back to Ryan Patnoder when we faced him in Boston the one year, and he did the same thing against us. He threw 2 pitches. it was a fastball and a ball that was like a cutter, and he threw it the same arm angle, same style. I'm convinced he didn't know where it was going, but it seemed like every time he threw it, I guessed wrong. I would think straight, and it would move 3 inches to the left, and that was it. So I like scuff ball, cutting ball, but I mean, each organization does it their way. I mean, there's pros and cons to both.
I agree. I think it is kind of cool that we have such a deep commitment to the scuff. Yet there are plenty of leagues and tournaments out there that are like, no, we're yellow bat and white ball, and that's it. That's what we're going to be. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Troop, you want to weigh in on this situation?
Yeah, I got
to add something real quick.
Oh, Toast, yeah. Hop right in, Toast.
To what Packer said about the unscuffed thing with Josh, he was throwing that ball this year, and he threw 4 games with it and won 3 of them. So it's still effective. However he does it. Me and Jordan were looking at the ball like, what are you doing? Like, how do you even do this? So he did the same thing this year.
And to add on to Toast there, I mean, if you look at it in the style that we play, that's why I feel like playing in a scuff ball tournament is so inviting to these guys who throw unscuffed or slightly scuffed balls, cement pavement, because they go in and they have so much success because it's so out of the realm of what we do. I mean, if you look at Cooper Ruckle, granted he throws 1,000,000 miles an hour, he's throwing like a brand new ball, and he goes out there and pitches like 6 games the last 2 years, and he's lit up less than like 5 runs because it's so different and unconventional from what guys are used to seeing in our style of play.
So true. I mean, I've even been able to get the great Kevin Norris out on what's essentially a straight pitch. Sometimes movement or little movement is just as effective. Troop, your final thoughts.
I got an interesting thing to say on that. I mean, I like the medium grit sandpaper. Then I moved from that to the cutting with a knife. When I started in 2003, 2004, I pitched with it out of the box. I was basically a fastball changeup pitcher from different arm angles. Went to a tournament in Atlanta, and Mickey Hyde he played with the Toad Killer Dogs back then. Him and Ernie Bianco and the Plastic Players had a team together. And but he showed me how to actually cut it, how to shape it, how to sandpaper it. And that's where I learned how to throw a drop ball and a riser consistently, and that changed everything for me. I think we've all been to tournaments where players didn't scuff the ball and they looked at it like it was voodoo. You know, what are you doing? Why do you have to use this ball? Why can't you use any ball? But I think that's just the differences, and we like the consistency that you get with a scuff ball. So I think it's great.
I mean, I think that's totally fair, the whole consistency part. I think that's something that's all three of you said. It's just like when you cut a ball a certain way, you know what it's going to do. And even as a batter, you're almost like, I'm happy about that. There's a predictability to what I'm going to see. When I see a guy throw a drop or a screwball, it's like, well, that's pretty much what it's going to look like most of the time. It's just a matter of location. So I think it kind of works both ways, both as a hitter and as a pitcher, coming to that like sense of normalcy. I still have yet to come up with how. I don't even know how to cut the ball. I'll be honest with you. I was cutting once driving, not a good idea. And I can't make straight lines. I don't know how some of you guys do it. There are these intricate little designs on some of these balls. It's like, that must be 1,000 slices. How did you do that? It's incredible. And so kudos to you.
I think I picked up a Steffi ball years ago, and he cut it differently, and I threw it a couple of times, and just the quick reaction of the ball was so sharp. And I said, I think I'm going to move from just a sandpaper to cutting it really fine. It made a difference.
That's what I'd say. Have any of you guys ever used the cheese grater technique?
No, I haven't.
Neither have I.
No.
Food Man, one of the cool things to do when you play it, I learned when I played in tournaments, was that just pick up different people's wiffle balls, and they're different. People leave them all over the field. You can pick them up. And
no doubt. I got a whole bag of them, definitely.
You find out what works for you, and you adopt their styles, and man, but you got to put a little scuff on. I think in my mind, I think that most leagues maybe start with the unscuffed, but once they experience scuffing it, I mean, they can't live without it.
Yeah.
Back to the cheese grater thing. I understand it's scuffing. Me personally, it's tough in a scuffed ball organization type deal to where do you cross the line? Because I feel like a cheese grater ball, there's definitely guys out there who toe the line on creating a mush ball because they're taking so much off of it with the cheese grater. So, I mean, I know I've picked up balls. I won't name names, but I picked up balls where we're facing them, or if it bounced off to the side and you pick it up and you pick the ball up and it dropped and it just folds. So I think that's kind of the one big con that I see of the cheese graters. I feel like it takes a lot off the ball.
I feel like those balls taco a lot. They tend to, when
Yeah.
you hit them, they turn into literally these big tacos. You're like, cool, that ball went 13 feet. Sick. All right, so that's cool. I love the discussion of scuffs because really everyone does have their own unique thing, so that is pretty cool. Moving forward, you guys are all from the Southeast. I know that, Packer, you are more of a transplant now, but Troop and Toast, you guys have been mainstays in Southeast football for a very long time. You know, shout out to Savvy, whatever.
There you go.
Gang.
So let's talk a little bit about player development. Who are some young players, or maybe not young players, anybody necessarily that you know of in your area that you think is going to make a big splash in 2020, whether it's in the local scene or might hop on to like more of a regional team to play in like a bigger event? We'll start with Troop this time.
Well, I'm going to have to step back on this. The last tournament I played in was the Nationals in 2013 in Savannah, the legitimate tournament. I played last year and during the summer with some college kids in a tournament around here. And it was kind of like a yard league style. It was decent. But I'm not ready for the scene. I haven't seen the players around right now. I think me and Smooch are going to try to get back involved and maybe play a few tournaments. But I'm gonna push this one on to Packer and Toast, let them weigh in.
All right, you got it. All right, Toast, he called on you, bro. What do you think?
Well, do they have to be young guys or just guys?
No, it doesn't have to be young guys.
Okay. Well, I mean, let's just say for yard this year, I got a couple guys in mind. I know one is Tui. He's always solid every year, but it's I think this year may be his time to win some big games, go deep in the tournaments. Always liked him. He's a younger guy. And another dude I've heard good things about and watched online was Dougie Baker in the wood bat tournament. Heard his knuckleball is pretty disgusting, so I'm on the lookout for him as well.
That's
and
true.
also,
facing that indoor event, so I don't know. Go ahead.
Right, and also for my boys, Troop and Smooch to come back. I want to see how they fare in yard league.
Oh, I mean that would be amazing. Absolutely. Packer.
Toast.
Go ahead, Troop.
I said thanks, Toast.
Oh, nice. Packer, what do you think? You've been playing really all over I feel like you've been up and down the East Coast. You've played in so many different events. Like, who do you think is going to be the best player? And I didn't specify before either fast or yard, but anybody in general in the wiffle community you think is going to be a breakout player this year?
Breakout player? I'm not sure, but I mean, local here. I mean, I've had some guys who they were college baseball players here, and they played in Northeast, but they live down here in Florida now. Who they're interested in playing, and we're trying to put some stuff together. Granted, we're quarantined, but I mean, Toast has seen him. Toast has come down here, and we were by a pool, and I had some whiffs in my car, and I said, hey, and he asked about it, so I gave him a ball. Told him, hey, it's going to go the opposite of where it is. And the kid stepped up, and the first ball he threw was like a freaking drop that dropped like 6 feet and hit the zone. So, I mean, we're trying to get new guys in that way. When it comes to yard, who's going to be a breakout this year?
Could be anybody.
Toast is going to be a breakout this year. He's playing on the Lumberjacks. It's his second full year in yard ball. So.
Time out. Second full year? I mean, I wouldn't classify, again, I know I got offended for saying this. You got offended for saying this. A random Tennessee event and then a super qualifier in New York and then the Open. I hardly would consider that, Toast, a full year. But we'll say this is your first full season. Would you?
So I can win Rookie of the Year this year?
You know what? Sure. It's like MLB service, right? Where it's like, oh, he's only got like 86 days MLB service, but he's played in 2 seasons. So what's technically his rookie season?
I went to one tournament, won one tournament, went to Nationals, went to the Final Four. What else do you want from me?
Yeah, you almost lost to us in the first round on Saturday morning. So
yeah, hey, why did we lose? Why did we win?
Virtual handshake. You're welcome.
Why did exactly? But no, I'm interested.
I'll tell you why we lost, because I have stone hands.
You do have stone hands. I give you that. Not worse than Bob, but really.
I channeled my inner Bob at like 9:45 on a Saturday morning. I was nobody. Nobody.
I'm excited to not have to pitch in yard if I don't have to with a Packer on the team. So
that's true.
I would like to say on yard statistics, this one goes out to Kyle Kamikaze Kaminskis because I pitched 30 straight games in yard without losing. I had like a sub-1 ERA. I was the best pitcher on the Minutemen.
He's gonna get right
No,
now.
you were Kyle.
I was. Kyle had all of our losses.
Are you sure this wasn't in your neighborhood games?
Well, what happened was we would face really bad teams, and I would somehow give up runs and say, "Hey, Kyle, I need you to come in and pitch."
Hey, well, you
Yeah,
faced
we would pull them all back.
What do you expect? I mean, come on. Hey, Troop, real quick, when was the last time you threw a medium style pitch? When was the last time you threw a medium style?
His
whole career.
There you go. That's right. Yeah, when by the time Toast knew me, I never had great velocity anyway. But by the time 2009, 2010, Toast didn't get to see he got to see the medium speed anyway. But last summer I played, and they had a radar gun. They made us. I think it was under 60. It was tough. I mean, because they were consistent about you're throwing too hard. In the first inning I pitched, I was like, man, I was trying to baby it in there, trying to get it in there, and I walked like 3 or 4, gave up a couple of runs on walks. Then I said, the hell with this. And I just threw my game. I threw like 4 shutouts in a row after that. So now I paid for it. I felt bad the next day, body wise, but I can still break it off pretty well. So I think yard league, Toast kind of sold me on that because I'd never played yard league. We always played the course of the fast pitch. But I talked to Toast last week, and he pretty much sold me. This is where it's at right now. This is where it's fun. So
You're welcome, Food Man.
Hey, no, I appreciate it. Listen, I think we all know that yard is fun. Fun, F-U-N, fun. I mean,
Yep.
I wish I knew you guys, I guess, at this point, 12 years ago when I actually threw fast pitch. We used to play at a place, and we played – it was like 50 feet away. It wasn't even 48 feet. And it was like a divot in the ground. So I was essentially throwing uphill for 3 years of my life as hard as I can against guys like Phil and Rob and McCray and G.
Bad.
And
Bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah, but Food Man, just a note. I think probably a lot of people say, well, what happened to Savvy after 2013? Smooch moved to Huntsville. He took a big job in Huntsville, and I needed to save my arm. I got kids, and so I coached travel ball throughout Georgia for 13U to 18U. My kid's a senior in high school now. He's moving on to play college ball. So I kind of moved on to coaching instead of playing, and that took most of my time up. But like I said, he's going to college now, so it's time to play ball again.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, I mean, listen, you're not the only one. Life happens. You got to take some time away. But it's good that you, essentially took the break that you did, because now you kind of, hopefully, at least in my opinion, you sound revitalized. You sound energized.
Well,
you sound like you got
I
passion.
didn't have to have surgery either, Toast. So I don't know how I avoided that, but
Show the
I guess throwing 50 miles an hour, right?
Real quick, I need to make if he comes out of retirement, but I think the Wiffle Ironman Chad Heflin could make a big splash this year if he shows up.
Wow.
Consider him called out. Chad Heflin, where you at, bro? Iron Man.
That's a hot take.
The Ironman of Whiffs currently at 60,000 career hits, 20,000 home runs. We need him out to come and play with us.
It's going to be a real shame when he doesn't get into the Hall of Fame because he's a compiler. It's really going to be a shame.
Compilers. You got to watch out for the compilers. It's not good.
Where do you think he plays? What kind of field do you think he plays on?
Don't know.
No idea. Haven't seen it.
Well,
Footage has yet to be released.
That's true. All right, Troop, we'll start the fun around with you. I'll ask you this question. I was trying to segue into fields. We've all played on very unique services, unique fields, unique complexes in our entire wiffle ball careers. 2-part question. One, what's your favorite field that you've ever played at, the field itself? And then what's your favorite location in the country that you've ever played with?
Well, let me think about that. I think the favorite fields that I played on, I guess you tie that into your experiences. And
Also,
most of the fields played a lot of Golden Stick, of course, and so Lou always put together really good fields. My favorite fields were in Patton Park. So I enjoyed playing that environment.
Troop on the record saying he likes Patton Park, everybody. We heard it here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I haven't played in New York. I played in, me and Toast had a lot of fun down in Arizona in 2010. That was epic. There were some great games that I think you tied in more to the experiences and to what happened. So I think Patton Park and then Tempe, Arizona, that was a lot of fun.
Nice. I appreciate the way you specified your answer. That was good. I agree. I mean, the experience is what makes like the event, right? Like, sure, it's a beautiful park, but like, there's got to be other stuff surrounding it that makes it cool.
Well, Food Man, Arizona, that was in 2010. That was Savvy's coming out party. We had some amazing games. We had Smooch even had a walk off of the Las Vegas Whifflers. So we had some just amazing games back in 2010. So that always, I'm sure Toast had some great moments too. So I'm sure that's a special place in his heart as well.
So yeah, Toast, you want to hop in on that?
Yeah, I mean, he knows me too well. I would say the one that I like, I mean, that holds near and dear to my heart, I'm going right down the same alley, it's going to be the field at the Rack in Statesboro, Georgia. No one's played there besides Savvy. That was our sacred little practice ground in there, you know. We'd go out there as a squad and BS around, and it'd be me and Troop battling heads up, throwing at each other all the time. And we'd meet there like once every Sunday. Let's go Sunday. And, I mean, yeah. I mean, Coach was out there. We had Sunshine. We had a lot of guys. Scott Bragg came on. We always had Robbie. Always had Smooch. It was always a good time, and he took it right out of my mouth. I really liked Arizona. It was my first nationals, and I mean, first game we played was 603 All-Stars, and all I heard from Savvy was, "Oh, these guys are this, these guys are that, these guys are blah blah blah." And I think Sunshine started because I don't think they still had full confidence in me yet, or either they were waiting to saving me for later. And something happened, and came in, and I hit a grand slam the first inning, my first at bat ever, and then they brought me in to pitch, and I think we ended up beating them like 11-10. And then Smooch walked off against Las Vegas, and then we beat the Vipers, and then we played Las Vegas Whifflers like 7 more times. I threw a perfect game against Whiff Inc. whenever they had Moonlight and all the boys. And shout out to Kenny Jr. on that. He really pushed me that game. I know I was telling Troop on the sideline, I really hate how this kid's not throwing the ball back to me. So he lit a fire under my ass that night. And, that's what happened. So.
That's easy.
But shout out to Kenny. He's a great hitter. That's the only reason I'm bragging about it, because no one shuts Kenny out. And that was when he was supposed to be the guy too. So
you would agree with Troop that your best, I guess, experience was that AZ event, that first AZ
yeah.
event?
I mean, Patton Park holds near and dear to my heart too, and the Texas tournaments are always great, especially last year too, making it as far as we did. And you know, I mean, that was a great run, and especially a good battle in that last game. I mean, Packer's my boy. It's always a good fun, you know, playing against them and just competing. Me and Norris out there literally bleeding on each other. So I know that's really shunned upon right now in this time, but it was okay then. Nobody was dirty.
I mean, it's not like you were coughing on them. Bleeding seems to be
no. It's just blood. It's fine.
Packer, what do you think? What's your? We'll keep it a one-part question. What's the most favorite place you've ever played?
Favorite place. So 2 things, like near and dear to my heart. Like you guys are saying, it's local stuff. I'll never forget being in high school, building a wiffle ball field with one of my friends in high school. He had a big backyard, and we built it, and it was like a full summer, 2 years of like every night playing wiffle ball. We had lights, we had it all. We built it from the ground up, full fence. We had ordered like the real, like the fencing that they, like the tarps and stuff that go over the fence. And we had some like legit battles that went on there. Played like yellow bat and just picked up balls off the ground. And that was a lot of fun. But when it comes to like the next level up, Texas was great. The fields, the first year in Texas, I really liked the quality of the fields. I liked the fields after that, but I always think back of like Patton Park, and I think it's more of the location, because I just having the tank in center field, under the lights, Saturday night, like win or go home type situation. We faced a West Coast Gunslingers team on Saturday night, the first year in Patton Park for us, and I'll never forget facing Randy Dalby, and he was throwing smoke. We ended up beating them that game, but it was just like one of those things where it's like, holy crap, this field is all like immaculate. The lights are on. There's a tank in center field. And it's like, for me, when it comes to location, I really like the Northeast, because when you get times for like nationals, when it's October or late September, I really like the idea of like it gets brisk at night. Like the brisk air, the fall, like it just the electricity.
So she's shaking your head. Why are you shaking your head?
I don't like cold weather. Not good for my muscles and tendons. Don't like it.
Well, Well, I never said that. I just said the briskness in the air. It gives it that major league feel where you can see your breath here or there, and it's just something is ready to pop off. You just know somebody's going to hit something or there's going to be a big play, and it's just kind of like that electricity's in the air if you know something's about to happen. And when it does, you can kind of see it. I mean, if you look back at the Golden Stick footage of the year Doom won where Denap hit the walk-off, it's like that situation where it's the lights are on, there's a tank in center field, these guys are battling tooth and nail at each other, and then all of a sudden this guy hits an absolute freaking moonshot off of somebody who's untouchable, one of the greatest pitchers to ever touch a ball in our game.
He is dubbed the great one. So
yeah, I mean, and then that happens.
I agree. There's nothing better than playing. First of all, any sport under the lights always brings that extra level of intensity and excitement.
Agreed.
And then, especially in at the Open, because you can play all day Saturday, and then you play some of these really crucial elimination games on Saturday night just to get to Sunday. I know that when we played in that Georgia Fast Pitch event, I guess that was 2013, right? The event we mentioned earlier. We, as the Spades, with like guys like Milstead and Crosby and Dan Earhart, we battled literally till I think 11:15 on that Saturday night just to earn a bid for Sunday, right? And it was the 8th inning, 9th inning, 10th inning. Just being under the light, watching everybody else end, and you still playing, it kept that momentum going. It kept that passion that we all had. And thank God Milstead finally hit a walk-off double in like the 18th inning. And then when I'm losing to Steffi and State of Mind on Sunday the next day. But it was an honor to play under the lights at a national championship. So I agree. That was a lot of fun. All right, guys. So I guess we'll wrap it up. Final thoughts going around. Thank you for tuning in again. I want to thank David Rotoast Wood again for being here, Mr. Ed Packer as well. I want to thank Troop Brinson for making his first appearance, and hopefully first of many appearances here on the Let's Go Sunday Around the Horn. I want to shout out to Funk Eye Apparel for making this really cool jersey and a lot of other gear for Golden Stick players. Shout out to Babs for making our new wood bats that everyone loves and excited to use. And, we'll finish up with our 30 seconds of fame. We'll start with Troop. Your first show, you get your first 30 seconds.
Wow, thanks. I appreciate the invite. A lot of fun. I like talking wiffle ball. It's just the competition. I've always said that you can't find that pitcher hitter competition anywhere else. Once you get done with baseball, wiffle ball is where it is with its fast pitch, slow pitch, and I like the efforts I see out there right now with social media and with Around the Horn, the YouTube pages. So thanks for thinking of us, guys. We're gonna get back in it. Me and Smooch, and thanks for Toast for plugging us, and looking forward to seeing some Savvy on the football field soon.
Nice. That's exciting. All right, Packer, your 30 seconds.
Free Joe Exotic. Joe Exotic for President 2024. But on a serious note, I love that all the content is coming out right now during this quarantine. Make sure everybody stays safe out there. Wash your hands, take showers, don't cough on people. But, I mean, right now is the time for all of us to gear up because, I mean, once this quarantine ends and they say it's safe to go outside again, wiffle ball is going to hit the ground running, man. We're going to have some leagues and some competition ready to go. And, I mean, guys are going to be itching to get back into it. So I think this is going to be a good year of gifts once everything kind of passes.
All right, Toast, why don't you round us out?
Yeah, man. I want to give a shout out to my physical therapist. I threw a ball for the first time today. Big time talking about that. Week 7. I still got a couple more weeks to go, but
a hard
that was a huge step. It was like a little hard plastic ball. It wasn't not throwing whiffs. I probably won't throw whiffs. I need something with weight in my hands to get the muscles back and everything. But it was good. Shout out to them, and of course Troop and the boys. I appreciate him coming on. I gave him kind of short notice today, but I knew he was in. He's always in. So
I was building a chicken coop.
Yeah, see, thank you. That just helps our stereotype.
Yeah, I was just saying, classic Southern thing to say. Well, Troop, I really do.
Bring him on here, and he does realize that.
Great comment. A great comment last week about, anytime you go to Walmart or Tractor Supply, you're gonna see the next Joe Exotic around here. So
it is.
We're kind of used to that. It's kind of normal for us.
I think
he was saying about the Joe Exotic. Yeah. Nice.
He was talking about agreeing with me last week. I get that.
Yeah.
He's in the middle of the woods. He's got to crank up his generator again soon. He's out in the middle of nowhere.
We'll try.
They get Monday Night Football on Thursday out there. It's fine.
I got all these kids streaming Call of Duty. So yeah, killing my internet.
That's what it is. Tell him to add me on the game, Carol Baskins.
Yeah, go drop on him in Warzone. That's it. All right, guys. So again, thanks again for coming around. We're Let's Go Sunday. We're powered by Golden Stick, and stay tuned for our next episode. We're gonna drop on Wednesday, so when you watch this, it will be Wednesday, hopefully, and we'll try to do something else for you during the week. Stay safe, everybody.
Yeah.
Adios.